All right, so Robert in Waynesville, how are you?
Hi, you can hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
You're on.
Okay, cool. So happy birthday early for you, Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did the teleprompter, whatever you have over there, tell you what my question is or anything?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but go ahead and ask anyway for the viewers at home.
Okay. I was wanting to know what you guys know of and what you guys think of Laveyan Satanism.
Yeah, so for those who didn't hear it, he's asking what we think about Laveyan Satanism. So as far as positions go, I'm not opposed to everything or even much of what Laveyan Satanism is actually about. I realize that they're not advocating the supernatural. They're not advocating worshiping Satan as an existing being. There are certain things about the religion / philosophy, whatever you want to consider it, that I'm not fans of. This idea of wanton hedonism, and they're kind of revenge-y oriented. As far as doing unto others, etc. But my biggest objection is that it's a stupid name. When we talk about all the different types of Christianity that are out there, sometimes we'll get accused of painting with a wide brush. Oh, you said this. Well, that doesn't represent my version of Christianity. Okay, but as long as you guys are pointing to the same holy book and using the same label, it's not my fault that if I'm painting one group, you get a little paint on you. You should have changed the name. You should have identified much more clearly. And by the way, what you believe is probably almost as absurd as what I'm actually talking about. And to me, it seems like the name behind, or the Satanism as a name of this is about shock. It's about it spawns too much confusion. Because if you have this idea within the prevailing religion that Satanists are people who worship Satan, one way to overcome that is to not identify with that particular label. Now, I understand about grabbing a label and making it your own and changing the way it's perceived. And so on that note, I can understand it, but it seems really silly to me.
Yeah, I'm reading over some of the information about it, and it seems like any of the positions of Laveyan Satanism that you might consider to be virtues, for example, such as, don't harm children, be kind to guests in your home, be respectful to another person if you are in their home, don't barge in and intrude on people's lives where you are not wanted, that kind of thing. These are all virtues that could very easily be practiced without, any sort of adherence or allegiance to Laveyan Satanism, right? Whereas some of the negatives I don't necessarily agree with just on a basic level, such as, a vengefulness versus turning the other cheek. I mean, sometimes it's the better choice to just, take the higher road and not, feed anything. Just know when to back off, know when to say, all right, I'm just going to disengage and get on with my life.
It seems very reactionary. Like,
it is.
Oh, they're going to go this way, we're going to go that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem very nuanced.
And I like the idea of individualism, but not like to such an extreme that I think they suggest it be practiced. On the one hand, I think a sensible balance needs to be drawn between your own individualism and the recognition that we are all part of a culture, part of a society, that there is kind of a social contract, just basic things that we owe one another. And so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be on board with it generally. But at the same time, you're right, it's probably not the caricature of it that you see in Jack Chick comics, where they're not bowing down at a black bloody altar in front of goat's blood, worshiping the guy in red pajamas. It's nothing like that. It's an individualistic and in many ways very secular philosophy. It's just not one that I think would apply to me personally.
Okay. I feel like you have some pretty good points there. When you're talking about the name earlier, Matt.
Yeah.
The name Satanism was more or less chosen on the old Hebrew definition of Satan as the accuser and
yeah.
the opposer, meaning
Yeah, which I think is consistent with them kind of being reactionary. You're going to go this way, we're going to go the other. And I think that kind of plays out in everything, at least that I know about it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
Well, thank you for calling.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later.
Appreciate
Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Let me just see, do we have
That was easy.
Yes, that was a good...
It's interesting, you know, on many occasions I've been asked, are you a such and such? Well, you know, does this label fit with you? And could you be a Satanist? Could you be this? And, you know, even when it comes to philosophical positions, like I'm a huge fan of David Hume, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with David Hume about everything.
Right.
I don't even need a label for the massive positions that are mine, apart from just acknowledging that they're mine.
Yeah.
It's not that, you know, when I identify as an atheist, it's not because I needed to join an atheist group, that this is my identity,
Right.
It's just the label that best fits my position.
Yeah.
And to be fair, since I was down on Satanism for doing it, I'm making use of the baggage that atheism has been saddled with by religious people in order to get attention in the same way that, you know, perhaps Satanism.
But at the same time, try to, you know, disconnect some of that baggage from the label by presenting yourself, you know, the whole positive atheism concept that we represent here on the show. Or
I guess maybe if there was a Satanist show or a group of Satanist advocates who were basically trying to say, no, that's not what this is about. This is what it's about. I have no problem with that. You know, I don't.
Sure, they should, you know, everyone, free country and all that.
I'm pretty sure could I hang with Satanists more likely than I could hang with Christians? Depends on the situation.
I think people just find labels and identity politics and things like that. Those are just easy ways for us to categorize and understand things, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, on a practical, you know, just personal, real life level, you're right. I mean, it makes more sense simply to evaluate ideas on their own merits, and, you know, embrace the ones that you think are suitable and reject the ones that aren't, and not necessarily feel like I have to, because then you're not really doing anything any better than religion, where you're like, okay, well, here's my checklist of commandments that I'll follow, and not follow that other guy's. You know,
and this has come up over and over again with regard to, you know, what positions are going to be included in the atheist community, not what atheism is or anything else. And so, like, for the example, the ACA has a list of position statements that are derived from support of church-state separation, which, by the way, you can be an atheist and not support church-state separation.
Yeah.
We happen to have an organization that does that. And so there are positions that are derived from that support of church-state separation or a separation of religion and government. And this isn't, by the way, you don't have to agree with all of those to be a member of the ACA or anything else. It's about what our group's going to do. And that's a separate issue from what atheism is.
And I think that if you're a skeptic and a rationalist, you should be someone open to having their mind changed, and you know, following a list of position statements to the letter, you know, might inhibit you from being able to do that. Because I had my mind changed on the whole subject, for example, of taxing churches.
Well, I also, you know, I tend to identify with the Democratic Party more than others. But that doesn't mean I agree with everything in their platform.
Exactly.
You know, not remotely.
You.
And it's the same thing with any party and label. But,
Right.